Hello everyone. Today we are going to go through 4.2, which is writing equations in point slope form. So this is exactly what we've done before. So if I were you, I would write at your top or top of your page y equals mx plus b. This is what we're doing. We're creating our equations again. Now we're just going to be given a little bit different information and we have to do a little bit different work to get there. So looking at this first one, they tell us m. So m is our slope. So we're already halfway there. So if we have our equation, y equals, we have 1/2 x. Now we just have to figure out what b is going to be. So that's what we're looking for. So whenever we have a slope and it's a fraction, that's the same thing as saying rise over our run. So making a stair step for every answer. So we go up 1, run 2. And so since that's not going to get us to our y-intercept, I'm going to go back the other direction. So instead, I'm going to have to run 2 and go down 1. Run 2, go down 1. Just as long as my slope stays the same, it doesn't matter if it's going up or down. Because right away we can see here are all these different points that we just created on our graph. So now we have to find this point right here. This is our y-intercept because this is our y-axis. Our y-intercept always falls on our y-axis, and that for this one would be 1. So there's our equation. Y equals 1/2 x plus 1. Let's try the next one. Again, they give us m, so we have our slope. So we have y equals -2x plus b. That's what we're looking for. And so since it's negative, that means our line is going down. So we have to go down 2, and it's over 1. So down 2, over 1. Down 2, over 1. And if you think it's easier to highlight your y-axis before you get started, you can always do that. So you know, oh, look, I ran into my y-axis. Now I can get my point. Because look, we created all of these points, and there it falls. And so we get -2. So we can also rewrite this as y equals -2x minus 2. So we're really not having to do a ton of math. It's a lot of just drawing some lines and sticking with a consistent pattern. So now we're looking at exploration 2. We've already done some of this work because this one, what we're doing is we're trying to create a formula for finding our slope. When we're given 2 points and we have to find our slope. Well, we've already done this. Remember, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So in this case, this would be 2 and 2. They just didn't put it there. So we're looking at our graph and we need to see, okay, we're counting down by 25 each time. Remember, we go over 1, down 25, over 1, down 25. It's a stair step. So that's how we know this is going to end up right at 75. So that becomes our B value. So now we have our equation y equals 25x plus 75. I know this may seem a little bit trickier, but remember, if you have the graph there, you can use it to your advantage and count, make those stair steps to allow yourself to find your answers. And if you're ever unsure, well, maybe you just have to do some of the math, write it down. So on this one, we have our x values, we have our y's. Okay, we know 4 is 175. Well, we found 3, it's 150. Well, if I subtract 1 on this side, and I'm subtracting 25 on this side, that means I have to keep a continuous pattern, because if I don't, then it's no longer a linear function. Linear functions means we're increasing or decreasing by the same amount every single time. So I get 125. Subtract 25 again, subtract 1 over here. I get 1 and 100. Subtract 1, I get 0. This is what I'm looking for. Subtract 25, we get our 75. So there's always more than one way to get to your answer. Choose what works best for you. At the end of the day, the goal is the same. The goal is to create an equation when given a point, and sometimes you have to find your slope. We know how to find our slope. We've done that several times. And if you're given a slope, you're given a point, you can find your y-intercept. Remember, your y-intercept is always going to be on your y-axis. So that means your x value is equal to 0. Stay tuned for Mr. Patinsky's video going over the extra practice problems, which you'll see below.